Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be going over the top 5 fastest muscle cars in GTA Online in 2023. I also do want to quickly mention that this list is not in any particular order, I just kind of put them in randomly, so keep that in mind. And I also will be having a few honorable mentions around the end, so make sure to stick around for that. And also, please do remember to subscribe, because I upload at least once every 2 to 3 days, so please subscribe. Anyways, I've probably wasted enough of your time, let's get into the video. So starting off at the number 5 slot, we of course have the Weevil ZX. Now straight off the bat, this is obviously one of the best looking cars in GTA Online and one of the fastest cars in GTA Online. And of course, the handling isn't the greatest on this car, although handling isn't the greatest for every car on this list because these are muscle cars and they are meant for incredible straight line speed. This car will cost you around $2 million. It doesn't really surprise me though because this car was added pretty recently in the Criminal Enterprises update. And believe it or not, there's actually an HSW upgrade for this vehicle, which does make it the fastest muscle car in GTA Online if you do put the HSW upgrade on this vehicle. And this car is just so fun to drive, and it has lots of customization, so like you can make it look like kind of any Camaro. It just looks so damn good. But yeah, that's it for number 5. Let's move on to number 4. In the number 4 slot, we have the Dominator ASP. And this car actually is a tuner's vehicle. So right off the spot, you're going to know it has a ton of customization. And you can kind of change the looks of it to make it look like some sort of other kind of Mustang. You can make it look like the Cobra, that's what it's based off of. You can make it look like a GT, it's a normal base model one, kind of whatever you want. You can also do some really good wheelies with this car. It just does take quite a bit of practice. And this is probably one of the better handling muscle cars in my opinion. It actually handles quite a bit better than the other muscle cars and kind of feels more like just a normal sports car kind of handling. But this car is still incredibly fast. Anyways, that is going to be it for the Dominator ASP. Let's move on to the number 3 slot. In the number 3 slot, we have the Weevil Custom. This car is kind of pricey because you have to buy the normal Weevil and then you have to put it into the Weevil Custom, but you could just get the normal Weevil for free after you do a bunch of the English Dave missions, then upgrade it into the Weevil Custom. And this thing was also recently added in the Criminal Enterprise DLC. But right off the spot, I'm just going to say this. I think this car actually has the highest top speed in the muscle car class, excluding HSW vehicles. And it also probably has the worst handling in this class, but it probably has some of the best wheelies as well, because you can pull off some really good wheelies with this car. You just have to upgrade it like full transmission, full engine upgrades, full turbo, and you will have some really good wheelies. But this car has quite a bit of customization, and you can kind of make it look like kind of however you want, I guess. But this car has incredible straight line speed. But anyways, that is it for the Weevil Custom. Let's move on to the number 2 slot. And then the number 2 slot, we of course have the Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire. And I know there are so many people out there that love this car. I don't necessarily love this car, but I still like it. It's a pretty cool car. And in the real life one, the headlights are actually intakes. There's a customization option for this car to have the headlight intakes. You can also make this car look like a drag car if you add like the wheelie bars and the drag spoiler. But this car is not as fast as some other cars like the Dominator ASP and the Vagero. But this car definitely costs a lot less money. I think it costs around 700, 800 grand, somewhere in between there. And it is definitely worth $700 to $800,000. It's absolutely worth your money. This car also sounds super good, and it has like a supercharger kind of sound to it, just like the Vagero does. And this car is just in general, it's just such a good car. And if you're looking to get your first muscle car in GTA Online, the Gauntlet Hellfire is definitely something to consider buying. Anyways, that is it for the Gauntlet Hellfire. Let's move on to the number 1 slot. Before I name the last car on this list, I do want to go over the honorable mentions first. Our first honorable mention is the Imperator, however you say that. This car sounds really good and it has a really high top speed. It's just a great car. Our next honorable mention is the Pizwasser Dominator. So this thing is actually free. I think this is actually free for everyone, and surprisingly, the Pizwasser Dominator specifically is really quick and it's free, and I just think everybody should pick this up. If you don't have this yet, what are you doing? Get it now. It's free and it's fast. Really fast. Our last honorable mention is the Vapid Clique. So this car costs you around $1 million, and it's actually, believe it or not, a pretty damn quick car. It has really good handling, probably the best handling car in the muscle car class, and it has incredible speed. So this is also a car to consider picking up if you want your first muscle car. This is a really good for what it is actually. And the last car on this list in the number 1 slot is the Buffalo STX. And straight off the bat, I actually want to tell you guys that this car actually has a Monitech on it, so that is definitely something you should look into, because this a Monitech is really good on this car. It's definitely worth your money, even though this car does cost quite a bit. It's still worth your money. And believe it or not, this car is like a pinch faster than the normal Vergara ZX. And this is one of the better handling muscle cars as well, like the Dominator ASP. And I believe this is the only 4-door muscle car that is on this list. And again, this car handles kind of like a sports car. It looks really good as well, like it looks like the actual car in real life, which I believe is like the Dodge Charger, probably the SRT model. Anyways, this car is just incredibly fast in terms of straight line speed, and it's pretty impressive again and again for the cornering that this car can do for being a muscle car. And if you want to get one of the best muscle cars in GTA Online, or even the best muscle car in GTA, this is probably one that you should look into. And if I'm being honest, this car looks good in almost kind of any color. I don't think it looks bad. Anyways, this is it for the Buffalo STX. Also, please do tell me what you think about my top 5 list. And again, this was not in order in any way. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.